going on, you guys? I thought that I would pop in and make a bit of a different type of video, something that I haven't really done before, and that is going to be a first impressions. And if you've watched my most recent video, then you know that I just picked up this big guy, the Sigma 24-70 2.8 DG-DN for Sony. And let me tell you, best believe that this thing is an absolute chungus of a lens. And it is also a serious beauty in both looks and what it produces. Other than the unboxing video, I've really just had today to kind of get my hands on it and run it through its paces, and I am not disappointed. Right off the bat, first observation is that this thing is heavy, and I'm talking like real piece of equipment here. But I do like that in my equipment. I am a career videographer. I like stuff that is built to last, and Sigma normally delivers on that really well. I am no stranger to Sigma glass. I come from the Sony A6500 to now the A7S III, and I had both the 16mm 1.4 and 30mm 1.4 for my A6500, and I freaking loved both of those lenses in terms of image quality and build quality and everything. And I've had those for over 3 years at this point, and they have stood the test of time just fine. So I'm thinking this is gonna hold up really well. And I guess it goes hand in hand with that. The second observation is just how well this thing is built. The lens that I'm filming this on right now is the Tamron 17-28, and it's a great little lens. It's super good for like walking around the town with, just kind of vlogging or whatever, but it's really not built that well. And it's something that turned me off of the 28-75 and made me spring for this instead, because I do like a bit of a heavier build and a bit more of a rugged construction. This is a lens that I plan to be on the camera probably most of the time for various YouTube documentary and gig work. So I want it to be something that is tough as nails and that I don't have to worry about getting a little bit banged up. The zoom ring feels so good. The focus ring feels incredible. The third impression that I'm pretty excited about is the image quality. And I was not expecting it to be anything less than stellar. Again, coming from Sigma, having a background with them, I know how good the glass is. And especially because the other two, the 30mm and the 60mm, are primes. This one is a zoom, which typically, yeah, is less sharp, a bit less, ooh-ah factor. But this one is pretty much like having to me, it's like having a zoom lens full of primes. Like you got 24, 35, 50, and 70, and it just looks good at every focal range. One conscious decision that I did make going to the A7S III from the A6500 was switching from primes to zooms. I totally get it. I get the hype around primes. I used to be a prime snob, and I know that probably most of the people watching this are. But at the end of the day, on gigs, I was just getting so tired of constantly swapping lenses and just making my client wait, or like holding up the shoot, or even on vacation, I'm just like, oh wait, I gotta swap lenses. I hate doing that. And the zoom lenses have been nothing but a welcome addition. I do not miss primes. I've got to say it. I'll definitely get some primes in the future, but starting out and kind of moving to my first full frame camera, which is the A7S III, I wanted to set myself up right and get a couple of zooms that would really cover all my bases, being the 17-28 and the 24-70. Between these two lenses, the type of work I do, it will pretty much cover everything, and with minimal lens swapping in between. But yeah, for both photo and video, this thing just absolutely rocks it at the wide end and the long end. And I'm super excited about it. I did some test shots that I'm gonna show here in a second, and they just look so good. If you pixel peep, I don't like the pixel peep, but if you do, it holds up. Like, the images are tack sharp and they just look great. Also, this lens was packaged really well. It came with this really nice kind of canvasy bag, and again, the lens is huge, so this kind of bag is fitting for it. I'll probably never put it in this again, but I'll definitely use it for something, because between me and you, I'm a bit of a bag hoarder. I've got like 30 bags in my closet. Don't tell anyone. I'm trusting you. But it's one of those things that's nice to have, and I'm glad it was included. It's a nice little touch. It also comes with a shoulder piece that you can hook onto the bag. You'll see that if you watch the unboxing video. Don't know why you haven't watched that already, but stay here, but after, go watch it. Another major observation, which goes hand in hand with the great build quality, is just the few buttons that we have on here. We have a locking button and an autofocus control button, and I'm assuming you can program this button right here. It's an AFL button, but I'm assuming you can probably program it to something. I'm not gonna lie, I don't use buttons on the lenses all that much. I like to use the custom buttons on my camera that are there for a reason, and I just like to program them and do whatever. But in a pinch, especially the autofocus control switch. That will be super handy. And let me tell you again, if you watched the previous video, you'll know those clicks are absolute mint. I will go ahead and address the elephant in the room. I know that there is a bit of a dust problem surrounding this lens, and it honestly terrified me to buy it. And it was a big kind of mental hurdle that I had to get over. And just to be honest, at the end of the day, dust is more of a aesthetic thing that's just kind of bothersome to look at. And believe me, it's going to bother the crap out of me if dust ever does get in this lens, which it will. Every lens on the planet has dust in it. It's just how it works. But this one is known for getting a bit of a buildup behind the front element. This one has a far newer serial number compared to the older ones that were having the issue. I've done a lot of research on this, and this one should have improved seals on it. But at the end of the day, I've done my research. It's a matter of unscrewing like 4 or 5 screws to get into it and just kind of blow it out. And if it comes to that, so be it. I think that the quality the lens provides at the price point, just the killer value is worth it. Compared to what else is on the market, I would be making similar compromises in other departments. And this one just kind of seemed like the lesser of two evils. Plus, at the end of the day, dust just really does not affect your image quality that much unless it's just an absolute crap ton. I'll link a video by DP Review down below. I really like those guys. They did a video where they kind of torture tested a lens, and really at the end of the day, a fingerprint on your lens does more damage than a decent amount of dust will. So you've got to get a lot of big pieces of dust, and you've got to be shooting at like f11 and above, which, let's be honest, who does that? We're shooting cinematic stuff. What is f8 and up? What is that? The last thing I'll say is I did get a couple of accessories. I got a Tiffin Black Pro Mist 1/4 diffusion, and this is honestly my secret weapon. So cat's out of the bag. If you want to know one of the reasons why my footage looks so minty is because the Tiffin Black Pro Mist. If you buy 3 things for your camera bag, this needs to be one of them. It just The other main accessory that I bought is ND filters, because obviously totally essential. And I'm not gonna lie, this one hurt the wallet a bit because all of my other lenses that I use on this camera are 67mm filter thread, and it was honestly a factor when I was choosing this lens because this one has a big Mac Daddy 82mm filter thread, which my wallet just sheds a tear instantly. But at the end of the day, it's good to have the biggest filter because then you can use it on any lens you buy in the future. You can buy a step-up ring, all that good jazz. And I bought the Freewell ND filters. I bought I believe it is the 2 to 5 stop and the 6 to 9 stop. So super psyched about these. They feel really good. I used them for the test footage that I'll show you, and I was really pleased with them. They have hard stops on them. I'm used to using cheapo ND filters. So honestly, those were a much needed upgrade anyway. It was coming at some point. I just kind of had to be a big boy and just So kind of wrapping up my final thoughts, I think I made the right decision. I'm very excited about this lens. It just feels and looks so good, and I really love the image that it produces. It really came down to 3 lenses, and it was this one, the Tamron 28-75, and the Sony 24-105. And between the other two, I just thought that I was making compromises that were a bit too big where I didn't have to make them with this one. And ultimately I pulled the trigger on this one, and I'm pretty excited about it. I think this is going to be super incredibly versatile for short films, for client work, for gigs, events, anything of that nature, photo shoots, all that. I think this is going to be a really nice kind of Swiss Army knife in my bag for pretty much all purpose. But without further ado, I'm gonna show you some footage that I took. I just went down to downtown Conway a couple hours ago and just kind of took my tripod out. None of this is like fancy, sexy B-roll. Not really my style. I dabble sometimes, but ultimately I like just the smooth, buttery footage, and I think I delivered. So check it out. There will be plenty more photos and videos from this lens to come, but for now, let's roll that test footage. Also, let me know if y'all are feeling the table. I really like the table. I like the kind of desk sort of setup, and I didn't really think my kind of studio area was built for it, but I'm gonna be honest with you. This is my dining room table. It's just me and Alexis living here, so we just went modest with it. But honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I really like it in here, and I'm not gonna buy a new dining room table because I really like it in there too. But I'm thinking I might have to bring this in here for more stuff, because, or just buy a new desk. Bye. Thanks for watching.